All right, so in this video, you're gonna see a call overview of what I typically do. Now, this is a little bit more advanced, and for one of the businesses, this is the main thing that we're leveraging to surpass 100K plus months. So you'll see how I give some overview, and then I'll show some screenshots of how this recently just helped with these two main focus points that I added. The second one's a little bit more complex of how this recently just helped in the past week or two just collect 50K in cash. So the more we're going to focus on this, the more it's going to help one of our businesses surpass 100K plus months. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to pause, take notes, ask any questions in the comments below, but let's dive right in. All right, Alex. So I'm just going to do a call review as requested for Travar. I believe this was a good call, decent call. There's going to be some things that, three main points that I do want to really just implement, and I'll kind of send you some notes on Slack for this. And then the third is going to be a little bit more complex, and I'm going to probably just get more, it's going to be a little longer because I am just trying to get more of a process down, right? So let's dive in and
Beautiful plays.
let's see.
So that's what I thought. I maybe pronounced the second A like stronger, like Travar.
Just wants to see a little bit of the rapport
So I thought
or the
got it right. Okay, cool. Well, great to meet you. My name is
frame.
Alex. So I am the guy that essentially helps out Jad and his team talking to everybody. We are very, very selective in who we actually bring on because we just unfortunately can't bring in everybody, right? It's a real mentorship. So we would love to teach 10,000 people e-commerce, but we can't. So and we're happy with that. That's okay. We'd rather make a few people more successful, right? than have a whole bunch of people that don't really get anywhere. So yeah, how it rolls. So essentially, this is going to be a deep dive, an ability for you, of course, to ask any question you need to, and I'll talk a lot more about the mentorship. But ultimately, I just want us to get like really clear, on this call. Want to know exactly what's going on for you and make sure that, of course, this is a good program for you. That we definitely help you.
Good.
For right now, is that correct? No, that's not correct. Oh no, you don't. Okay. All right, cool. And then as far as ecom goes, have you ever done like any programs or courses or mentorships or anything? No, I haven't done any course or mentorship. All right, cool. So you are fresh to e-commerce.
Nice. I don't mind
awesome.
that. I know what you're doing there.
Well, congrats. It's a great industry. Very difficult. Very difficult if you try to figure it out on your own, right? Most definitely. Yeah, so not too much fun. It was terrible for me for a couple years, and then I found somebody who's kind of like a mentor to me. I was helping him make like a lot of content videos, making content for his websites, like his stores, and so I got to see like the inside of business, and he's very successful, and so it's awesome. Like it was really helpful. And I'll be honest, it was pretty easy for me after that because I just got to see exactly like how to do it, and I just essentially kind of made my own thing after that. So I'll be forever grateful to him. Okay, so you're new to ecom. Got it. And then since you're so new to ecom, like what got you into looking into this? There's obviously so many different types of businesses you can do nowadays. Right, most definitely.
Good question, right? What got you into ecom, right? Again, with this, we're going to pain first, and then we're going to go into goals. I know what you're doing there with the mentorship stuff. It's not bad. I think what I'll see a little bit more is there's going to be the first point is going to be a lot of chit chat and not really just be more direct with the questions.
Obviously, I've been seeing a lot of things and I've been watching. Obviously, on social media, it's very impactful today. All the things that you're able to see. So it's just a matter of time of seeing people and like see what you really want to pursue in that essence. And then most importantly, I believe it's more about the mentorship. Like you have someone to guide you. Like you can always have like.
So you said impact, and I think you're going to dive into mentorship more than impact.
Vision these different things and want to accomplish or pursue different things. But having mentorship is pivotal, and that's where I kind of like if I can get a mentorship to do something like that, I think I would enjoy it most of it. Why not? Have you ever experienced like a mentor before in your life? Yes, I've had several mentors over the course of my life. I'm a soccer player from an international country, so nice. Yeah, for sure, most definitely. Good for you, man. Yeah, that's great. Like honestly, not many people have actually mentors. But honestly, it really is. Yeah, I agree with you. One of the best things just in general in life, just to get you ahead, just to learn, grow, develop, right? Right.
So here you'll talk a lot.
I see they're really essential, but make life a lot easier. I'll say that. But so that's cool. So now I understand. Like kind of like why that what you want is a mentorship. Because so many people in e-commerce they go into it and they just don't go after a mentor basically, and it's challenging. Right, for sure. Group learning, like a lot of people try to learn with like 50 other people, hundreds of people. It's just maybe 10% of those people actually do okay.
Like a minute sure. Now.
I mean, so that's cool. Good for you, man. I love that you know what you want. So cool. All right, let me just get that down here. And then
all right, so like he opened up with e-commerce. It's like I know can impact mentorship. Yeah, you could say you can kind of give a little bit of like, yeah, it's great that you have that perspective that you're looking for mentorship. You're just really trying to dive into it. He still didn't really answer the question. He answered a little bit of impact, so you can kind of go back and say, so but aside from the mentorship that you just want direct access to like something that can help you, like why is e-commerce out of everything something that you want to choose? Right. And he'll be like, well, I tried other things and I feel like e-commerce is the way to go because X, Y, and Z. Okay. And how long has that been the case for you? Yeah, it's been this case this way. Okay, awesome. And when it comes to e-commerce specifically, I mean, like, do you feel like what's kind of going on that makes you want to choose e-commerce in general? Like, why do you feel like that's important to like where you're at in life? Right. And he'll kind of open up a little bit more of like,
yeah, well, something with like, I just graduated because I listened to this afterwards. I just graduated and, I don't want to get into this 9 to 5 life. We didn't get into that. I'm just kind of, creating this hypothetical situation. Okay. So that's why you want to choose e-commerce because, and so what do you think e-commerce will help you with that? Well, I'll be more entrepreneurial and I'll have more freedom in my life. I don't have to depend on a job and have a boss, blah, 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 blah. I've always wanted my own business. Okay. So you feel like you got into e-commerce because it can give you all these things. Is that correct? And I'm assuming right now you don't have those things. No, I don't. You don't see yourself having those things like in the long term, right? If you don't choose this route. Yeah, I'll probably be in the same position. Okay, got it. And then once you get that, then you can get into what I'm going to talk about here because now you're kind of transitioning to the why now, right?
As far as like, I'm just really curious as far as like
I
what
mean, before we get, you kind of get like, how does that make you feel? How long has it been the case? All that good stuff.
now, like, is there anything special about like this point in time as far as why you're looking into this or why you want to just like start something like this like right now?
Yeah, most definitely. Like recently, I just finished my MBA, and like it's not like I have like all those things that I was doing and so on and so forth as it relates to like just taking up my time and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
there's a lot more free time. There's a lot more flexibility to do what I really want to do. As it relates to like just my personal time and so on.
That's awesome, man. Congrats. Yeah, you're like you're just like immediately into action. I love that. Like
Right.
studying and then like let's get it. Let's start a business.
What's next?
That's cool. Wasting no time. Yeah. Yeah. School can be slow. You know what I mean? It's so much time, but that's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. Very cool. It definitely is super helpful to have that sort of like educational background. Obviously in any business, including online business.
Right.
You know, you will be able to use those skills for sure and some of that knowledge. And it's, yeah, so that's really good stuff, man. Okay, so you have more time, so that makes sense as far as right now. And then so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have a huge amount of time. Do you have like a job?
You see, like you end up kind of talking for like a minute. I would just say, awesome, that makes sense. He didn't answer the question again, right? So aside from time, I mean, it makes sense that you have more time because you graduated MBA. Like, why is now the time that you want to get into this? Right? Why not just do it 6 months from now, a year from now? He'll probably open up. Well, I just feel like 6 months I got this perspective and I knew that I needed the time, but this perspective always been the, okay, well, what happened 6 months ago? Like what kind of gave you, well, what ended up happening is X, Y, and Z. He goes, okay, got it. And I'm assuming that gave you, that kind of impacted the way you view things. Is that correct? Yeah, it has, man. Okay. And so it's been 6 months. How have you felt the past 6 months knowing that you want to change something? And I mean, not that it's wrong that you haven't done it, but like, how have you felt the past 6 months? Well, it's made me feel this way, blah, blah, blah. And so now you're ready to make a change, correct? Yeah. And that's why you're on the call because all this information, blah, 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 blah. And it made you hop on this call because you really want to change that. Correct? Yeah. Right. So now you're collecting all this information. I think the rapport chit chat is kind of avoiding you from being able to go deep. But again, you're a smart guy, man. Like I know what you're doing as well. I think I would just rather have it more of a process where you're just going deep. And I mean, end of the day, like you can build rapport, cool, but you don't have to build it so much that like you miss the point. Because like end of the day, like you can be best friends with this guy, but like we're here about business. You know what I mean? We're always here about they know that they're on a call for a sales call. You know that you want them to actually buy the mentorship. They know they're going to be a little bit hesitant. It really has to be valuable to them, so on and so forth, right? He didn't answer the question, go deep.
Did it take up any time at all or no?
Yeah, most definitely. Right now, I'm currently seeing my house and my work yet, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
I still do work for sure, most definitely.
Okay.
And that's where I get my base to really like support my other decisions or my other pursuit or anything that I choose to do.
Right. Okay, cool. So you were actually going to school and working at the same time.
Right, most definitely. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I love that. It's a certain type of person that will take on that amount of work.
Right, for sure.
So I like that. That's really, really good. Definitely not lazy. Cool. Yeah, because like, again, as I told you, we're super selective. So like, these little things are like really important, about a person's character. Like I mean, to be honest, like a lot of people don't succeed in e-commerce because of like, the internal stuff, right? Psychology, right?
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to qualify him towards like his characteristics of who he is, like his character traits, I guess is a better way to put it. But rather you want to qualify him through the process of getting pain from him. I'd rather have somebody who doesn't have the right character but has the right pain, right? Rather than somebody who has the right character, doesn't have the right pain, and then they end up just BSing and not wanting to pay, right? So follow the process of the pain, go deep instead of just kind of like hovering around there and trying to be their friend. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
They're
Now
not
you're
committed. So
talking
they
a
don't know
little
how to
bit
stay
more.
accountable, right? They don't want to work hard. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
they're like, oh, I'm just going to start my own business. You know, how hard
Maybe
can it be?
buddy,
Right?
buddy.
It's like, well, it's a little bit different than just going to work for somebody. You know, like it's not just about like making money. Like, you know, you have to be like responsible and shit, right?
Right, most definitely. It's
You know what I'm
competitive
saying?
as well. It's a competitive industry for sure. So
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. And they have like no MBA or no business experience. They just were working for somebody, and they're just like, I'm just gonna make $1 million and start an e-commerce business. You know, it's like those people, not surprisingly, don't succeed, most of them. But yeah, so that's cool, man. So we do obviously look for like people that have certain qualities, certain sorts of experiences.
You see?
They're just going to be more coachable, right?
That's what you're trying to get.
If you're
But
not
it's
like
pain.
the right type of person, like it doesn't matter what we teach you. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Anyways, I don't need to go into it. I know you understand. You know what I'm saying? So really awesome stuff, man. Was this how long did it take you by the way to finish the MBA?
11 months, yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're working around the clock. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I want to do.
Was that online or in person?
That was online, yeah.
Nice. I love the internet. Right? You know, so it's just, it
Yeah,
wasn't that
for
long
sure.
ago where you wouldn't have that option. It was,
Right,
I
for sure, most definitely.
think it was like 15, 20 years ago, maybe. There's only like Phoenix online or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
Like one school. It's so funny, man. Things change so fast, you know?
Right, yeah. It's gonna keep on evolving for sure.
Yeah, it is. So I'm really excited about e-commerce for the next few years because of drones. There's a
Again, you're just talking a lot that doesn't need to be talked right now. That's why I'm 2xing it. Usually I do 1.5x. All right, let's you know, I think you transition into goals, but you know, without pain, there's no ammo, there's no way to challenge people. Let's get into the pitch.
Most definitely.
doesn't have to be the end. But any questions so far, by the way, about anything I've been talking about?
Yeah, most definitely. As it relates to the mentorship and the course and everything. So how much is the cost associated?
Oh yeah, sorry, just kind of blanked out there for a second. So basically, the investment for the 6 months, everything we talked about, is a one-time fee of 5,500.
Okay.
And I'll put it in the chat here just so you remember. So there's no profit sharing, no revenue sharing, just to be clear, okay? Because that does exist in the e-com industry. It's just a fee. That's it. Once, and then you get access to Slack usually within 24 hours. You get access to the modules immediately. Okay. Obviously, those Zoom calls that'll be scheduled whenever is the best time. So you might want to do a lot of work first.
Okay.
Before you ever schedule the first call. Okay. It's up to you though, but generally that's how we do it. We delay it a little bit. Yeah. Any questions?
So all right. So the pitch, I always like making sure, and I think I wrote to you this in Slack. I like making sure that you put everything before, and then you actually start stating the price at the end. So typically, how a process goes is I'm going to send you an email with the invoice, and then within that process, once everything's sorted on our end, we typically do everything on call. Then you're going to get access immediately to the mentorship, the modules, the Slack channel in the next 24, 48 hours. And then we'll talk about, when you need to schedule your call, but that will be the onboarding process. And the total investment for this 6-month mentorship is just 5,500, right? Just 5,500. And then and now this next process, Alex, what I want you to do is so we kind of took 2 points, right? Cut the chit chat, right? Get a little bit deeper, right? That's those are 2 points. The third point here is objection handling, right? I think it's multifaceted here. And the reason I want to go a little bit more in depth here is because you're going to comprehend this. I'm saying in this video, I want you to make sure you can study this, so on and so forth. So within the objection process, there's going to be 3 points that I'm going to talk about. Making sure that you state the pitch correctly, and then always try to make sure that you get the objection from them. And that's kind of a bullet point in itself, but mainly because, let me just reverse that, right? So state the pitch correctly, assume the close and get the objection from them. And then I'll talk about the third point. So you stated a pitch here.
Well, and how do you have to make those? Do you have to make, you say it's a one-time payment, just 5,000. Okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Boom. That's fair. Assume the close because you want to get the objection out of him, right? Okay, awesome. So the next step of what I'll do is I'm just going to send you an invoice to your email. Once that's processed, then we'll onboard with everything. So is xyz@gmail.com a good email to reach you at? Yes. Okay, awesome. So this will just take 20 or 30 seconds. You get that invoice, and he's going to start coming up with the objection, which in this case, I started understanding a little bit more that it has to do with I have to think about it and have to get into finances, which we're going to go to the third point as to what we should have done.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know. I figured financially with you, it's workable because I know you're working a job, and you have set some money aside for e-commerce as well, correct?
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a very fast process, efficient process, and fairly conservative. Because I'll throw this number out to you for a second.
Okay, you start at 1 hour here.
Let's say you're in the dropshipping phase, and just to give you some like real numbers, so to say, let's just be very conservative for a second and say you are making $15 of profit. Okay, your net. Okay, on a pretty low dropship margin would be close to $4,000 net. Okay, right. And that's a great place to be. And that's if you have Facebook. So just a very Facebook, Shopify, basic business, 15. So you can kind of see it's actually pretty achievable, right? To make pretty good money, right? And once you kind of start to hit like 8 sales or more, 95% of the time, you will reach break even and start to make a lot more sales, a lot more margins on a lot more money for sure. You'll have that much more. I've seen that literally just jump like that in a couple months after reaching that point. But it's a pretty solid income all the way there, and you have your savings. You can put into.
So this is strictly objection handling. So you don't need to like say anything. You just have to get the objection out of him, right? That's fair. That's fair. Awesome. Send the invoice. Oh well, and then he's gonna come up with his objection. Well, I have to think about it. What do you have to think about? Well, I just have to look at my finances. Okay, open wallet, right?
The inventory at that point, whatever you want to do, right? So yeah, any more questions?
Yeah, and like, so like for example, like I'm assuming I'll definitely have to reschedule the call to make those payments, or like if you generally have like a time limit as it relates to when you'd expect someone to like really start the program or so on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a good question.
Right. Yeah, we do everything on call. Right, easy. We do everything on call. He's going to say the objection. Well, I have to go and think about my finances. Okay, just so I have more clarity, open wallet, right? Again, I think you
one
start
is
talking
for new
a little
people
bit
that are new to
more.
e-commerce. We take on a less amount of mentees
Okay.
In terms of spots because they take more time, obviously.
Right.
And that's fine.
That's why in the pitch it's important, because you want to make sure that you say we do everything on the call.
And we love it, man. But it takes a little bit more time. So as of yeah, okay, cool, got it. Yeah, so there's less spots. Cash flow. So like where you're at thinking about your cash flow right now. I mean, yeah, if that's not workable for you, then we can probably split it into like 2 payments over 2 months. Is that more workable? That amount would. We don't normally do that. But if somebody, we don't normally do that. The other option is over 3 months.
Oh, okay.
At this amount, 1833.
Okay, so
most definitely.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate it for sure.
Yep.
So you're playing your cards too much. We should have an open wallet, right?
Because again, yeah, it's not even like you just don't. It's not good to be stressed, obviously, and just have more peace of mind. I think it's helpful, just being more successful. But also, we just really don't want like any interruptions, right? You're getting going.
I want to hear what he says.
Like you have to pay like all at once, or like if you join the program, you can try to pay like over 3-4 payments or so on. Is that something that you guys do as well?
Yeah, there you go.
We don't normally do that. But if somebody, that's why we have these conversations. I want to make sure that financially you have a good cash flow. So like where you're at thinking about your.
Yeah, we just do a one-time payment. Right. You see the chances where we could have got the objection, right? The pitch got it. So is that, I forgot what he said. I just lost my train of thought. He asks a question. You say, yeah, we do everything on the call. I think he said, oh, do we have to schedule that? Yeah, we do everything on call. Or no, he said, sorry. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You can assume to close. Now you're opening up him to open his objections up to you. Oh, do we have to do on call? Yeah, we do everything on call. Is everything one-time payment? Yeah, we do a one-time payment, right? He's forced to either just leave, which you already know that's not a good, he's not going to close, or mainly he's going to say, well, I have to think about it. Well, what do you have to think about the finances? And then we're going to get into open wallet.
Your cash flow right now.
3 opportunities.
I mean, yeah, if that's not workable for you, then we could probably split it into like 2 payments over 2 months.
You see?
Is that more workable? That amount might be like $2,750.
You don't even know his finances yet.
The other option is over 3 months.
Oh, okay.
At this amount.
You see?
1833.
Could have been a PIF.
Most definitely.
Right.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate it for sure.
Yep. Because again, yeah, it's not even like you just don't. It's
trying to rationalize,
obviously, and just have.
So in this process, again, all you do is get a Google Doc, right? And then you literally do this process, Alex, right? Okay, just so I have more clarity on my end, right? So you have to think about the finances, correct? Yeah. Okay, got it. So anything double tie down, anything with the everything with the program makes sense. Yeah, everything makes sense with program, man. I know I'm in. Okay, so you're 100% in, this can get you results, you're ready to take action on the program. Is that correct? You're committed to it. Yeah, I'm committed to it. Okay, got you. So it just has to do with strictly the finances that you have to think about. Yeah, right. And you ask him what you have to think about, he'll say, well, I just, something with like, I have to look at my finances, blah, 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 right? And so this is where it's gonna be super powerful. Okay, just so I have an understanding, and literally, Alex, like get a Google Doc, share the screen like this. I want you to do this because the numbers on the Google Doc is gonna make sure that it's just completely logical for them, right? Just so I have more understanding. I mean, I can't promise you that, that we can have options, but we do sometimes have options depending on where you're at. I'm here to support you and have more clarity. So, based on your monthly income that you have right now with your work, what does that kind of look like? Oh, it's 5K. Okay, and then after expenses, like income after expenses, like after your bills and everything that you pay on a monthly basis, what are you typically left over? Well, I have 3K in bills, so typically around 2K. Okay, got it. And any access to credit, he says, yeah, I have a 2K credit card. Okay. And then any investments like stock or crypto or anything like that? No. Okay, awesome. And then when it comes to savings, like what does that kind of look like that you have? Right. Well, I have about 6K. I just bought X, Y, and Z. I have 6K. Okay. And you literally say it like this. Because you want to make it like the tonality that you say it is a way that you're just kind of confused. And then they're going to kind of come up and say, well, and then you're going to go into objection handling from there. Right. Literally this process. You ask these questions. Awesome. So just based on my understanding, total that you have, including income after expenses. So you got about 2K plus 2K plus 6K, you got about 10K. And then you get about 2K every month. And then he's going to say, well, yeah. Okay. And then now you say it in this tonality. Is there any reason why, just so I'm a little bit more, have more clarity, is there any reason why 5,500 doesn't work for you? And then he's going to say, well, it has to do with the program, or have to talk to my partner, or X, Y, and Z. That's a whole another, different topic that we can dive into. But within this process, right? And I want to just play this because I want to let you know like what ended up happening is like the importance of understanding his finances through support of your tonality and through clarity, right? Let's just play this, and I don't mind 2xing this.
Of mind. I think it's helpful to be more successful. But also we just really don't want like any interruptions, right? You're getting going, your business is going, and then all of a sudden, right, you have to like stop or pause or something like that. That's the worst case, right?
Right.
So just want to make sure that that won't happen. So out of these three options, like which one do you think's best?
Most definitely, I'll definitely think about the third one for sure. I'll take the
Just
1833
think about
on
it.
3 months. That'd be more than something that I'll definitely more than be able to comfortable pay off and so on.
Cool.
How much will, so as it relates to my just my overall store and like stuff, and how much are we looking at to start though?
Good question. It's pretty conservative. So the normal amount, average, 95% of the time, is 1,500, sometimes less, about 1,500 to 2,000 over usually like 2 to 3 months.
Right.
What is that amount? What does it represent? It is a combination of some money out of your pocket and some money from sales, profits from sales. It ensures that your business is now starting to self-sustain and then heading where? Toward branding. So
Right.
it's actually pretty conservative. Just to spend that amount, which again is a combination of out of
Yeah,
your pocket
sometimes even with your answers, just be like 1,500, 2K,
sales
But this
to have stability that will take you the rest of the way.
You're almost trying to like
Is
sell
there a way to
him,
speed up that process
right?
then
When
to
we
get
have to
branding? Yes,
just,
there is. It's not just
you're
all
almost trying to sell him on this when we just have to get the objection.
about paying for marketing, like paid ad strategies. To
Right.
acquire. There's also a lot of free stuff you can do if you got time. So you can always ask Chad or Johnny, like, hey, I want to get more people on my website. I want to get more people, like, and as I told you, I built my business the first like couple years on just pure free marketing.
Right.
So that is, because people ask that question, like, can I get there faster? Can I get the branding faster? Yes, of course, 100%, absolutely. If you got an extra hour here or there,
Too
there's
long,
always stuff you can
too
ask
long,
that can
too
help you
long,
drive more
too
customers
long.
without having to budget for it or anything like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's hope that answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm supposed to do a reschedule call just because I'm not gonna make the payment today, but obviously I'd like to make a schedule call just to start paying, just to get
Right, he's trying to take charge, right? Like you want to take the authority of saying like, okay, this is our process, we do it on board, and then if not, we just challenge him on a deposit. But you're gonna challenge him on a deposit when it doesn't make sense. The reason I'm playing this is because I just want to show you the clarity of the making sure you get the objection from him, and then going through open wallet.
and track and start doing it as soon as possible. So sometime next week would be most suitable for me.
Okay. Any reason, like, I just want to, just for transparency on my end, because I want to make sure that you're serious. That's all.
Okay.
That's it. That's the reason I'm asking. Anything else, like, as far as not paying today, or you have any questions, concerns, anything else at all?
No, like for me personally, like I didn't know the amount that needed to be paid today.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Right.
So I obviously usually that's what I tend to do when I'm doing business. To most like I find the amount and I go back and do my calculations.
No, you'll do the calculations with them with the open
I will
wallet.
make my payments and so on and so forth. Then I go ahead and make my decision as it relates to that.
Got it. So the 1833 though is workable for you?
Yeah, most definitely that'll work for sure.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get a sense of, like, today, the 1833 is achievable today.
No, I would, like I said, like most times I don't really make payments on the same day. Like
You see, like now he's kind of BSing out of it.
I mean, like that's just technically how I've done business all of my life. Like I've always like assess my situations
Right.
and then go back and look at.
So he has to assess, and it's probably going to go into like something with like the program that he has to, you have to like understand what the objection handling is with that.
How I'm going to scale everything. Like that's why I asked you how much am I looking forward to like start, as well as how much do I need to pay monthly and so on. Or, like if I would be able to do it, just to know how to weigh my decisions. Like obviously I have some money saved up, but obviously you want to make sure that hey, not only do I trust in my mentorship and so on, not do I trust in my business, but obviously everything will be done according like you speak about. You don't want to be next month, next 2 months. Oh shucks, I have to stop or so on and so on. As you know, as it relates to financial reasons,
Right.
you don't want. Yeah, so I have to make sure that when we make this decision to go
Open wallet.
forward, it's just all the way through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, completely, man. That's why I like you, man. You're just like really methodical about your decisions and you factor everything in. Like you'll be a great business owner for sure. Cool. I also always want to make sure too that one, if somebody's really good and I like you a lot, that you hold a position available for yourself. But I also want to see like just really like how serious you are. A lot of people say that they are, but they're really not.
You don't want to challenge his seriousness. You want to just challenge his financial situation and then the objection.
Okay, yeah, I feel
So my only question is this: is like one to hold a spot that you can 100% come in next week if you want to. I would recommend doing a deposit. That would be $1,000. That'll hold it. Most people that do a deposit are always coming in because they're serious, of course. If they're not coming in, obviously it's refundable. You would also have an agreement as well that you have you can sign that also is there obviously to protect you and me, both of us, or not me but the business. So that's also something that I would be emailing you. But that's kind of what I would suggest in this situation. So it's kind of twofold. I just kind of want to get a sense of one, how serious you are. Two is actually holding a spot.
Yeah, most definitely. I strongly agree with you on that as relates to, but like I said, like it's not like I have to make a consultation or like talking about my financial decisions, like you know what I mean. But yeah, like I said, like as it relates to like payments, like I would just prefer to make the payments like I'll just follow up meeting for sure, just to make sure that I'm 100% in, I can afford to do it and so on and so forth.
Objection.
Got it. Okay, so you're not like fully confident financially if you're ready to start this?
No, it's not about like
So now it's kind of too late to
as it relates to the payment. If I was to make those 1,800 payments Monday, then I'll be able to do it. But like coming in, I didn't know like what was going to be the associated cost, like you know what I mean. So that's where I have to like really assess my situations and then go ahead and make my decisions as it relates to. Because I'm really confident about joining the program for sure, and the mentorship for sure, most definitely. But I don't want to start right now and then any hiccup happens and I have to back out. You know what I mean?
So potentially,
this is why you literally get this. Right now, let me just play the scenario because I want to go deep here. Right, say his scenario was let's do this, and let's say this, right? Because I always like adding the income after expenses, right? So let's say he has 5K, or let's put credit 2K. I'm just playing with numbers, honestly. Okay, so let's say right now 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5K, and then plus 2K every month, right? And let's say we were to do a 3 pay, right? So let me actually play a little more with this. Let's do 2 here. Well, let's do 6K. All right, so this makes perfect sense, right? So let's say we say, okay, total is this, and he goes, yeah, is there any reason why 5,500 can't work? Well, I just don't want to be left with $500 in my pocket because I actually have this other bill, so on and so forth. And then like you go through that little phase, and then like he ends up saying like, yeah, I can't have $500 in my pocket. Like I gotta at least have like 1,000, 2,000 just so I can be safe. Sometimes there is some like rationality with that, some reasoning that makes sense. So then what you can do, this is where you start getting into the 2 pay and the 3 pay. You go, got it. Okay. I mean, you are serious about this, right? He goes, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure you're super serious about this because we don't normally do this, but I am here to support you. What we can do is we can do something like 2750 today, and then 2750 in 30 days. And I was like adding some logic here, right? Because all this is logic. I mean, so essentially you're still gonna have 3K, and then you're always gonna have 2K for like just to even be more safe. And then you let him kind of go, well, and then you go into the objection handling process. Say he did have, I'm not going to change these numbers because I'm just confusing myself, to be honest. Say he had only 3K, right? But he is bringing in 3K every single month. All right, I'm just playing with these numbers, right? Then you can say, if this financially doesn't work out, then the deal structure is, well, what we can do is 1833 today, and then 1833 every 30 days. For the next 2 months. And then it will have to logically make sense because the numbers are on the Google document for him to see. And then he'll get into, well, and then that's where you're going to attack the objection. Right. So I just want to show you the deal structure of what this looks like, because this is super important. And it helps a lot. And typically what happens, again, I'm going to go super deep here, is like you're going to overcome a spouse, you're going to overcome things that have to do with the program, like the skepticism, the doubt. And then sometimes, if it doesn't make sense there with the logic, again, you just want to be super logical. Then what ends up going into that process is you end up going into fear. And then with the fear, you want to be able to use the ammo that you get from the pain, right? Because now we have this from point 1 or point 2, I guess, that we talked about. And then you want to challenge him and just kind of say, well, I mean, I gotta be honest, man. Can I be honest with you? Yeah, I mean, like, you did say X, Y, and Z that you wanted to fix this. Now, like, is that still the case? Just so I have more clarity, right? Because I'm just here to support you and help you. And then he's gonna have to understand that it is logically possible to do this, right? But does he have the courage, or is the pain big enough for him to say, well, I am going to be scared or whatever, but I want to do it. And he has to make that decision within himself, right? You can support him and be like, look, this is going to help you X, Y, and Z, but ultimately the choice is yours, And honestly, now in this process, if he actually doesn't do it, I would just like say, like, man, I mean, you just lose your spot, because he made a decision to say no, based on the situation that is in front of him. And 99% of the time, if he does that, he's probably not gonna make a decision in the future to change it, right? You'll rarely see that. But that's where he has to understand, is my pain and my goals worth it? Is that valuable enough for me to pay this amount when it actually makes sense on the Google Doc, right? So I got a little bit deeper than I wanted to, but the reason I did that is because you follow the process, man. The process just simply works. It works, it works, it works, it works. And if you don't get a sale, because you're not going to sell every, you're not going to have 100% closing rate, you can look back with this formulaic process, as I like to call it. Again, it's just like a formula. Oh, I just missed this variable. I just missed this number. And I just didn't divide this correctly, which means I didn't go deep enough with the pain. I didn't go big enough with the goals, right? And then I also didn't, probably pitch correctly, but like I didn't go through the objection handling process correctly, right? And you want to, with this process, it also builds a lot of like confidence, because like when you know what the objection is and you've gotten everything sorted out logically, I mean, you can have such power and authority to say, well, man, I mean, like I said, like, probably just doesn't make sense for you. And you can just do a takeaway easily, right? So anyways, hopefully this helped, man. I'm gonna send this to you, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Awesome. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, like I always say, this was a little bit more in depth. So if you have questions, ask below. And I do want to let you know, if you want a script of what I typically overview, it's going to be more framework driven. Then all you have to do is comment here below or follow me at Dennis DeHeza, which is going to be on the show notes for Instagram, and then just DM me script and I'll send that right over to you.